going in, we all gonna have our favorites and the way we think, but we never know until we see. Because like you say, if Canelo come out that thing hungry, it'll be a tough night.
Listen, Terence Crawford is too good for it to not be competitive for as long as it lasts, right? I just think Canelo is gonna knock him out. I think he's gonna stop him.
The hype around this fight is Canelo's fading. Because
experts see the clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a potential thriller. When Roy Jones Jr. spoke with Andre Ward, he described it as a true 50-50 showdown, since both men have elite skills. Still, Jones admitted he slightly favors Canelo, adding, "Everyone naturally leans one way." He explained that if Alvarez enters with the same hunger he carried early in his career, it could spell major trouble for—
First hear about it, Dre, I like a lot of things about the fight. I like that Bud took his time when it beefed up early because he knew it was coming. So when you got time to get ready and get right, that's a big thing. You can't take nothing away from Canelo. Canelo has been there for a while. Great puncher, great boxer puncher. If Bud can take the punch, which we're pretty sure he can do, we're going to have a good fight on our hands. I think there are several ways for Bud to win it, but one way for Canelo to lose it. I ain't gonna disclose none of that, but that's just my thoughts.
We'll do that as we get closer.
Exactly.
Yeah. But do you feel comfortable saying who you think the winner gonna be?
No, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna feel comfortable saying it because I like both guys. And when you got two guys of their caliber, you can't really count either guy out. You know that yourself.
That's a fact.
Bud is a champion. That says a lot. And on top of that, Bud is still hungry. You understand me? Canelo did his thing too, but I don't know if he got that hunger still left in him. You understand me? And that's what I think, that's the only thing that bothers me. If he's still hungry, then we're in for a good night. But if he's not hungry, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, I agree, man. I know it's gonna be it's gonna be a great fight, and it's not a lot of matchups in boxing that you can guarantee a great night. Like you can guarantee it's gonna be a great fight.
Without a question.
And I say that because just following both guys throughout the years, they both got the intangibles, the stuff you can't see unless you know what you're looking at. The stuff, it ain't an X and O thing. It's here, right? Like it's that stubbornness for greatness. Like Canelo, though he's had some mishaps, he's had some draws, he's had some losses. I feel like if you ask Canelo what happened there, he's got a perfectly good reason why that happened.
Exactly. That's everybody in boxing.
Right.
Showbiz, the respected boxing commentator, highlighted that age and proven dominance give Canelo Alvarez the edge. While he acknowledged Crawford's extraordinary ability, he pointed out that Crawford is 3 years older than Canelo, something that makes a difference at this level. He emphasized that Canelo has already solidified himself as one of boxing's greatest undisputed champions, and his resume shows why so many analysts favor him. In Showbiz's eyes, siding with Canelo is the safer call because of his experience, punching power, and championship pedigree.
That people have for Terence Bud Crawford. But for me, a 38, you guys know my takes, but a 38-year-old welterweight versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, undisputed super middleweight, who is 3 years younger than him. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is too good for it to not be competitive for as long as it lasts, right? I just think Canelo is going to knock him out. I think he's going to stop him. I mean, he probably not knock him out cold, but I think he's going to stop him. All right. Now, but what I can say is I saw Terence Crawford, his last workout shit. And for all of you guys who said that this photo was photoshopped and said that this wasn't real and all that shit, look at Terence Crawford's physique. Look, certain stuff you can't fake. Yeah, you could probably up the sharpness here, have certain lighting here, but it doesn't give you more muscles. If you're in shape, you're in shape. It doesn't add muscles that aren't there, like real Photoshop type of thing. Yeah, the lighting was good. He just got a pump out, right, a workout on, pause. But still, this is how he looks right here. Just like you see him in natural light, you see him in black and white. The guy is in dog shape. All right. Another thing I liked about this episode, if you guys got to go to Terence Bud Crawford's channel to see his episodes of, him being prepared. I think this is the last one because right now it's fight week. It is fight week, everybody. No turning back now. All right, what, you got the media workout tomorrow? You got the press conference. I think, what was that?
On the Porterway podcast, analysts compared Canelo Alvarez's current status to Floyd Mayweather's money era. They argued that Canelo has moved past just chasing bouts, his presence alone now dominates the sport. Although some critics say Alvarez is in decline, the panel disagreed, noting that he keeps defeating every opponent regardless of style. They hailed him as the greatest Mexican fighter and the top undisputed champion of recent times, saying that doubts about him are more about people refusing to give him his due credit.
At the point where Floyd was at, you know, where I remember covering Floyd for the Maidana fight, and, you know, my question to him live was, did you really pay $1.5 million for Maidana not to wear these horsehair gloves? And it's like, I don't have to tell you. And that's it. I'm Floyd. I told you I don't have to tell you. And he walks away. It's like, boxing is so different.
Look at this is and Floyd's the best fighter of my lifetime. I was a little too young to watch Roy in the early 90s. That would have been a challenge to that claim. But it's I've been saying, like, just as important as his great career has been what he's left behind. And what he's left behind it isn't good. You know, look what it's producing.
No,
I think everybody agrees with that.
Effect.
Yeah, the Mayweather effect. So,
but there's a double standard because Canelo's in his what would you call it? Money Canelo era?
Yeah.
And you know, to bring it back to the main subject of Crawford and Canelo, the hype around this fight is Canelo's fading because he's getting decisions while he's basically dropping everyone he fights. So I don't see where you're fading at. But Floyd got praised for getting decisions.
Yeah, but
you don't see a fade from Canelo?
That skull fight was rough.
I mean, but that was more. I don't think that was a fade. I don't think that was a fade more than it was self-entitlement, right? It's like, I'm Canelo. I'm not chasing you.
100%.
He didn't win the fight. Like, if we're forget CompuBox, because let you. CompuBox is someone just like me with their Great Adventures clicker going just like this. So you know, I can use my own television and my own eyes.
At Oladipo, however, leaned toward Terence Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford typically starts strong with sharp, accurate punches, which could win him the early rounds against Canelo. More importantly, Oladipo emphasized Crawford's reputation as one of the sport's best finishers. He doesn't just win, he closes fights emphatically. His confidence in Crawford stems from the belief that once Crawford settles into rhythm, he could control the later rounds and secure a decisive victory.
Each other and saying some stupid shit. Casual fans are like, oh, 1 second, what's going on? Like, is there something going on over there? And I feel like these two would do that. Plus, you know, it's going to be a decent fight.
It will be a decent fight. Do you know who, you mentioned it there, do you know who, not disappointed in terms of how his career has been going, I think it's going quite well, but that he's not a bigger name as Bout Dennis.
Yeah.
Like, that guy has the style, everything, the flair, everything to be a big star, and he's just not. And do you know what I think it is? I'm not having a go at Eddie Hearn, I think it's the matchmaking. I think he's fighting guys, even now, go to 154, he needs those big fights. He needs those because at the end of the day, David Avanesian, it's like, okay, he's a good fighter, but like, they're going to put butts in seats.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there's only so long you can matchmake him against people that we don't care about.
Yes.
Like even Stanionis, unification fight, Stanionis is good, but okay, you beat Stanionis, it has to be a bigger name.
Yeah.
I mean, Virgil Tees has been screaming for you. Erickson Lubin's there, just as something exciting, another American maybe. Sometimes you need that. Like the American fans won't relate to him fighting non-Americans that we don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know some of these guys that he's fighting, so that doesn't help. Anyway, look, we could go on and on and on and on, but this is Canelo Terence Crawford special.
It is.
Because we are filming this on Monday. So we're only, 5 days away.
See, I'm already smiling.
From what people
already smiling thinking about
the
this
fight of the
fight.
century.
Nonito Donaire, the multi-division champion, offered a balanced take. He credited Canelo for years of dominance in his natural weight class and recognized the punching power he carries at that size. On the other hand, he questioned how well Crawford will handle the added weight on fight night, since he hasn't fought long at this level. Despite that concern, Donaire still called it a true 50-50 battle because Crawford's skill and adaptability allow him to trouble even the toughest rivals.
You know, Canelo's been in this weight for a very long time, and he's gained that body, that experience. He has the power. He has the accolades to show it all off too. And of course, with Terence, I believe is the more skillful fighter, but he's going up a lot of weight classes to get there. He's never fought in 160, so that's a question. Is that weight really gonna affect him or not? The moment he gets hit in the arm or anything like that, is he gonna think otherwise? That's the question. But when it comes down to it, the way they are, Crawford is very skillful. He's very talented. He can box, he can brawl, he can do anything. But then Canelo also has that power to neutralize things. But he's always had problem with people who walks or runs around him or moves around him. So that's the question that I have to give it a 50-50 because I give Canelo the power, the leverage in this weight. But then I give the skills and the talent and the speed to Crawford. And that's why this is going to be a very, very, very interesting and entertaining fight.
One analyst reflected on Canelo's early boxing journey, noting how unusual his rise was compared to most fighters. From the start, coaches saw that he possessed remarkable natural power beyond his age. While many young boxers build strength gradually, Canelo had it instinctively, which became the foundation of his style. That power has stayed with him through the years, wearing opponents down fight after fight. Even today, after countless championship bouts, his punching strength remains a nightmare for rivals. For Crawford, who hasn't faced someone with this exact mix of size, strength, and experience, the challenge is particularly dangerous. Once the exchanges heat up, Canelo's shots could become the deciding factor. 32.
Power. Even when Canelo was a young lad, a young Canelito, aka Cinnamon, growing up in Mexico, you hear Eddie Reynoso and Eddie Reynoso's father, who trained Canelo first, talk about how he was a big kid for his age. He was muscled up at 13, 14 when he started boxing in the gyms of Guadalajara. He was knocking out grown men by the age of 15, 16. And I know Terence Crawford was doing the same over in Omaha, Nebraska. My point is, Canelo has always carried some power, carried some strength, carried some devastation in his hands, and that's gone up with him. And I know that people have questioned that because who really carries that kind of power going up? But Canelo's been able to do it. And, people like Manny Pacquiao have been able to do it. Usually you go up, and when you go up in weight, your skill carries the bill. And Canelo has skill, and Manny Pacquiao had skill, but there's still that nasty, nasty power in his hands. And one of the things that we have seen is that Canelo, regardless if he's being outboxed maybe early in fights, or regardless if people have landed on him, look at the Caleb Plant fight, look at the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Again, not saying they're the same talent level, but he has found the button at many points of those fights. Even if he's quote unquote being outboxed, he has found the button. The one place that maybe didn't work as well, or two places I would say, were obviously Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, and the Triple G fight, because Triple G was just made out of iron just like Canelo is, right? But usually that power carries him through. So one of his strengths is when he downloads, when he does dissect, when he does find the opening, he's able to capitalize in a big way. And all that boxing you did rounds 1 to 6, it may have you up on the scorecards, but it leaves you vulnerable from round 7 to 12 because Canelo's hitting arms, and he's hitting shoulders, and he's hitting ribs, and those arms are getting heavier.
Some analysts stressed that the fight's importance goes beyond titles or records. They argued that the outcome could redefine how boxing views both men, especially Canelo, long seen as the face of the sport. If Crawford were to defeat him, it would shatter Canelo's aura of invincibility and force a rethinking of his legacy. At the same time, such a victory would elevate Crawford into historic territory as the man who accomplished what many thought was impossible. To these analysts, this isn't just another big fight, it's a turning point that could reshape modern boxing history.
And Usyk changed the way everyone sees Tyson Fury.
Yes.
In the same way, potentially, Terence Crawford could change the way we look at Canelo for the rest of his life. So, Joey, what do you make of that?
I think you're right there. I think it's kind of been proven, hasn't it? You look at Turki Al-Sheikh and the Riyadh Season's efforts to get Gervonta Tank Davis on board at the start, to get him in some big fights, to get him in fights that the fans want to see, and he's not an all-out favourite in. And he's gone the route now of fighting Jake Paul. So you can see the fighters that are willing to put it all on the line and the fighters that potentially might not be. Now, one thing with Canelo that people would say is although he's been fighting the best at a very high level, he has been picking his fights. I'm not saying he's been picking fights that he's an all-out favourite in. Obviously, he picked to fight Bivol. He picked to fight Kovalev. There's so many of them, but he has been picking his fights. So he's now entering this sort of realm, which obviously with the William Skull fight, he already has, but kind of feel like it was a bit of a gimme. He's now entering this realm in Riyadh season where even if he's to go and progress and win this fight, there's only going to be tough fights from now to the end of his career. And it's been a long career. He's been pro since he was 15 years old. So I think that when you look at the fight, I do feel like Terence Crawford is a little bit fresher.
Question on the big fight experience here. It's just another stadium fight for Canelo, right? He does this a lot. This is Crawford's biggest fight of his whole career, his first stadium fight. And it's definitely going to be a home crowd advantage for Canelo. That's not even up for debate, in my opinion. Wow. How will Crawford handle that mental pressure when he's been out of the ring, as usual, for a year, and Canelo was in the ring a lot more recently?
Former opponent Callum Smith gave his perspective, admitting that Canelo is not quite the same fighter he was at his absolute peak. He sees small signs of wear from years of competition. By contrast, he views Crawford as entering at his sharpest, quick, precise, and highly dangerous. Smith said this contrast makes the matchup fascinating. On one side, Canelo brings the veteran experience and ability to find ways to win. On the other, Crawford brings fresh speed and adaptability. While Smith slightly leaned toward Canelo due to his proven record, he left room for Crawford to surprise, saying the outcome depends heavily on preparation and performance on fight night.
Will become world champion again this year.
Yeah, and I can't not ask you about Canelo Crawford, former opponent of yourself, obviously. Yeah. What's your take on it this week?
It's a good fight, to be honest with you. I keep swapping and changing. Part of me sometimes thinks Canelo's not the fighter he was. He's still a very good fighter, but I do think he's on the slide a little bit, and maybe Crawford might be a little bit too fast and too slick, but I don't know, when I seen him head to head, I just think Canelo's naturally that little bit too big, and as good as Crawford is, he's had one fight at 154 and he's now skipping 160 going to 168 against a solid super middleweight. So I don't know, I think size tells as the fight goes on. I think Crawford will have success early, but I think the natural size will play a part, and I'm going to go with Canelo, but I may change my mind in the next couple of days.
Yeah. The kind of one thing people are thinking about Crawford, he's been very inactive in the last 2-3 years. You're somebody who's kind of dealt with that quite well. You've been inactive but still pulled out performances. I'm thinking of the bout fight, for instance. Just how much will that play a factor, do you think, in the fight?
It depends, because I've had long layoffs, I've come back and I've performed well, and I've had other ones where I feel it's massively affecting my performances. I don't know, I think as a fighter, personally, I'm always just confident. If I was out the ring for 3 years and I had a terrible camp, I just believe I get it right on the night, and I think you're always confident in your own abilities, that when it matters, the chips are down, you'll perform no matter what, and it isn't always the case. So I don't know, I think ideally he would have liked to have been a bit more active, although it was his choice to sit and wait. I think when we spoke to him, really enough, when I think it was in where was it we seen him?